Hi, it's Jill here, and thank you very much, Lucy, for asking me to do this little short video for you and your lovely mums on this Monday morning in Exeter. Now, I've been spending the last two and a half years devoting my time to look at the way nutrition and supplementation can help my own body, that of my children, my friends, and also now my clients to live a better and healthier lifestyle. I do have a nursing background, but actually this is a very different area to what I did many years ago when I was a nurse. Then I worked in what I call the illness industry, and now I'm very much working in the wellness industry. So what I've done for you today is Lucy just asked me to put a 10-minute video together just on a subject that we think that you might be interested in. Now, I live right in the middle of the countryside. I moved here 7 years ago, and out of my bedroom window or my front window, we're in the back of the house at the moment, if I look out, I'm surrounded by fields in the front. I'm also surrounded by fields in the back as well, because I actually live in an ex-farmhouse. And when we came here 7 years ago, when the farmers were ploughing the fields in those days, and I know that you live in Exeter, and I come from down your way, by the way. I actually come from Chudley. My dad still lives there. I know that you will have noticed that when the tractors are ploughing the fields, that 7 years ago, there would be lots of birds following that tractor along. And what the birds were doing, they were looking for the microbes that the tractor was mixing up, was exposing, if you like, all the grubs, but particularly the microbes that were coming to the top of the soil so that they could eat them. Now, what's really interesting to me is that over the last 7 years, increasingly, when I look out the window, and I've got a photograph actually from the latest bit of ploughing that went out outside my door, is that there are now no birds following those tractors. And there's a couple of reasons for this. One is because farmers are under so much pressure now to be doing this really fast crop rotation. So they're having to use different techniques, they're having to use herbicides and pesticides to get the soil ready really quickly and to kill off all of the bad bugs in order to produce these bigger yields that they're expected to do. But the trouble with that is that they're also killing off the healthy microbes in the soil. Now, you will have also perhaps noticed that when you're driving along in the summertime, it used to be, if you went on a long journey, we go from here right up to the north of Scotland every year, that you'd get those little black bugs on your windscreen, and if it was a sunny day, they'd kind of get hardened on. Now, some of you might even be too young to remember this, but you used to have to get in and scrub them off. Again, those are the microbes. So it's very clear that microbes are no longer that abundant in our soil. Why is this important? Well, my friend and herbalist Marlene Williams told me 2.5 years ago, probably longer than that actually, that we'll never die of a vitamin deficiency. You know, we're going to get ill. But actually, it's minerals that are more critical to us for our survival and good health. And what's happening here is that if those microbes are not in the soil, it's the microbes that get the minerals into our food. So no microbes, no minerals. And the World Food Health Organization, right back in 1996, said even then that our soil content was a whole 72% less rich in minerals than it was 100 years ago. We're nearly, 20 years ahead of that? Goodness knows where we are now. The other thing is that, of course, we get a lot of our food in from abroad, but actually the World Health Organization said that their soil contents, you know, wherever we're buying our food from and importing it from, they're no better. So the sad fact is that we have to accept that our mineral content in our soil is less, and if it's not in the soil, it's not in our food. If you can eat organically, and you know, that's a great goal to have, but then that's fine, and you're going to get more of the minerals in your soil than if you can't eat organically. But there's another reason, do you remember, that I told you? I don't know if you've noticed, but we've had quite a lot of rain in the last 7 to 10 years. And our water table is high. And if you could look out of my window here to the left, you'd see that we've got a big vegetable patch out here. But actually, increasingly, as we've been here, the water table is so high that the vegetable patch and some of our patches in our garden are increasingly waterlogged. Now, that water table and that water, what that also does is it washes the minerals out of our food too. And last year, for example, we had strawberries again planted. And they just didn't taste anything like they had done the year before. And that was because last year it was a really wet year. And that vitamin C and the minerals and the things that actually make our food taste nice had been washed out of the soil. So, if we get to the premise that unfortunately we don't get enough minerals, what minerals are important? Well, I want to talk to you about one particular one today, and it's magnesium. I've actually put a little ebook onto my website that I'm going to send Lucy, that she's going to pass on to you so that you can get all of this information through my ebook. It's a free ebook, so you just need to sign up, and you'll get sent all sorts of great information as well if you want to stay into my email newsletter group. Freebies, you know, all that kind of stuff, special offers. So what does magnesium do? Well, magnesium and phosphorus are two of the most important minerals. Now, you'll have heard of calcium, but very often doctors particularly are prescribing women of a certain age and also children calcium supplements nowadays. They have realised that you need vitamin D also to absorb calcium, but the one thing they're also missing is magnesium. Now, that's because of the processes and the balances that go on in the body. When we get up first thing in the morning, the balance between the things that help us to relax, magnesium and phosphorus, are in a good balance with the two minerals that help us to kind of get things up and going. So, as the day goes on, unfortunately, if we don't have enough magnesium put into our bodies, then that balance gets kind of out of kilter. And it's a great thing to be able to help people with, because I've got clients of me that have come to things like restless leg syndrome. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, where your kind of legs are itching all night and you really can't relax. And this was because, generally, I'm also a Pilates teacher, by the way, and a lot of my clients get cramp in their classes, and this is due to a lack of magnesium, because magnesium allows the muscles to relax. And this particular 70-year-old lady said that her GP had just prescribed her some calcium and vitamin D because they were worried about osteoporosis, but that she was suffering with restless legs. So I said, well, actually, Barbara, let's add some magnesium into there, and I'm sure you're going to get, great relief from this. I went to see her a month later, and I walked in and I said, hi, Barbara, how's your restless leg syndrome? And she said, what, restless leg syndrome? Now, this is the same for a lot of other things as well. Magnesium has the same effect. Very often, if you suffer with migraines, you may realise that you suffer with them overnight or later in the day. And that's because the balance of magnesium in your body has changed and altered. That relaxation property is not to the fore. So migraines, headaches, polycystic ovary disease is an imbalance very often in magnesium. Premenstrual symptoms, headaches, even pain. Magnesium is wonderful for helping people if you had period pains. Also, magnesium helps the bowel to relax. So if you're prone to constipation, magnesium is great for that as well. But one of the biggest things is stress has an amazing effect on the way that we absorb magnesium. So in order for you to be absorbing your magnesium on a regular basis, then you need to make sure that you're bringing your stress levels down. Well, Jill, that's easier said than done, isn't it? I'm hearing you say. Okay, so I'm going to send you a link to my ebook, but there are 3 things that are critical in order for you, or indeed your children, to live a happy and healthy life in terms of your magnesium balance. You must drink loads and loads of water. Yeah? Well, you hear this for all sorts of reasons, but actually water is so critical in magnesium balance. You must also make sure that you're able to digest your magnesium. So if you're going to take a supplement, then you need to take it away from food. But the other thing is that magnesium is kind of a hard molecule. So if you've not got the right amount of digestive enzymes in your stomach, then you won't actually absorb that magnesium that you're taking anyway. And the other things that you need to be able to do is to eat slowly, to relax, to reduce the stress levels so that you can absorb magnesium too. So I hope this has been of interest to you. Obviously, in my ebook, it's not very long, it won't take you that long to read, but it does explain a little bit about the science behind it, what I suggest you do in order to get your magnesium levels in balance. If you know anybody with more serious disorders like ME, fibromyalgia, then magnesium is so critical for anybody that is suffering these autoimmune diseases as well. So it's been great to talk to you, and I hope you have a fabulous session, and I hope to see you all in person very soon. And I try to join you on your Mum's Net Monday night thing too, so please say hello if I pop up there. Okay, bye.